Hi, thank you for joining me for the video for week 11 Toolkit Part 2. Thank you for caring about your learning, not just about getting the assignment done. So let's look at number one. We have a diamond problem. So draw the diamond around these numbers. We need two numbers that multiply to get negative 40 and add to get negative 18. So we check our chart of factors and we see that 40 is 2 times 20, 4 times 10, and 5 times 8. Okay, so now I want two numbers whose product, two numbers who multiply to get negative 40, which is all those pairs, and add to get negative 18. So we're going to use this. So if I want a negative 18, the 2 has to be positive and the 20 has to be negative. Now, those two could switch as long as the 20 is negative and the 2 is positive. Okay, let's practice solving an absolute value equation. So, step one is to isolate the absolute value. So, what number do I get rid of? I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So, I have absolute value of m minus 8 is equal to 16. Okay. Now that the absolute value part is alone on the same side of the equal sign, I'm going to split. So m minus 8, now I'm going to split into the negative and positive, could be negative 16, and m minus 8 could be positive 16. Okay, so now treat them as two separate equations. The opposite of minus 8 is plus 8. So m is equal to negative 8. Add 8 over here and you get 24. So I have negative 8 and 24. Number 3. So 7 plus 5 parentheses exponent 2. We are going to split these. 7n plus 5 times itself. So I have two terms by two terms. My box has to have 2 by 2. So I have 7n plus 5, 7n plus 5. Okay, so let's look at this. 7n times 7n. Yeah, what is that going to give me? I'm going to multiply the coefficient. So 7 times 7 is 49. And n times n, there's really invisible ones here. And I'm going to add the exponents. So I have 49n squared. Okay, 7n times 5 is 35n. 35n here, and 5 times 5 is 25. So, next step, combine like terms. Okay, why are those terms alike? Because they both have the same variable, and the variable has the same exponent. Notice it's an invisible 1. Okay, so 35n and 35n, when I add, the exponent doesn't change. So I have 49n squared plus 70n plus 25. The exponent changes when you multiply, not when you add. Okay, number 4. Now, these are kind of interesting. We have 5r and 5r. Look how those match. Minus 6 and plus 6 match with opposite sign. Let's see how this multiplies out. So we multiply the coefficient, add the exponents. And negative 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. Next step is combine like terms. Now, what do you notice about those like terms? Negative 30R and positive 30R, when I add those are going to cancel. So now this one's interesting. Instead of having three terms, it collapses to two terms. 25R squared, that is 36. Wow, it looks a little dyslexic. Minus 36, not 63, 36. Number 5. So isolate, we're going to isolate the squared term, the variable, and then we're going to take the square root. And because I have an exponent of 2, I'm expecting two answers. That's when the two answers appear after I take the square root. Okay, so let's divide by 100 to isolate the variable. Now, I can reduce this fraction. 36 and 100. Let's go to the chart of factors and see what 36 and 100 can both be divided by. Okay, 36 and 100. What is their greatest common factor? It looks like the greatest common factor is 4. Okay, 4 times 9 and 4 times 25. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 100 divided by 4 is 25. Okay, next step. Take the square root, which is actually square root of top and square root of bottom. So R is plus or minus square root of 9 over square root of 25. Now, 9 and 25. What is the square root of 9? 3. What is the square root of 25? This is my list of perfect squares on the back of the chart of factors. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 25 is 5. So I get plus or minus 3 over 5. Or 3 over 5 comma negative 3 over 5. Both would be correct. Number 6. Okay, so it's this whole quantity squared. There is nothing to isolate because everything on the left side of my equation of my equal sign is inside the parentheses that have the exponent on it. So there's nothing to isolate. Time to take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Square root cancels squared, so I get m plus 4. Square root of 25 is 5. Okay, when you take the square root, that's when the plus or minus appears. Okay, so now we're going to split. M plus 4 equals negative 5. M plus 4 equals positive 5. Subtract 4 from both sides. M is equal to negative 9. And M is equal to 5 minus 4 is 1. So 1 and negative 9. Okay, number 7, simplify the square root. Well, 36, I notice, is a perfect square. The square root of 36 is 6. So the square root of 36 is 6. Just positive 6. Because I never had an x squared term. Okay, 75 is not a perfect square. We are going to separate it into the biggest perfect square and the leftovers. So I need to think of the factors of 75 and what is the biggest perfect square. Okay, here are my factors of 75. So I can see that 25 is the biggest perfect square. So I have 25 times 3 equals 75. The square root of 25 is 5. Rad 3. Number 9, simplify the equation. Notice it is on an expression. Number 9, simplify the expression. Notice it's not an equation. There's no equal sign. We're going to put equals something, but the original problem has an equal sign if it is an equation, and it would have both sides and we would balance. But this is an expression. So first I'm going to distribute, and then I'm going to combine like terms. Okay, so distribute, multiply. When we distribute, we multiply. 9 times 3n is 27n. 9 times 8 is 72. I'm going to add them vertically. 3 times 7n is 21n. 3 times 3 is 9. So adding those together, I have 48n minus 63. Number 10, factor out the greatest common factor. GCF, greatest common factor. So from the chart of factors, we see that the factors of 10 are 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. The factors of 25, 1 times 25, 5 times 5. So the greatest common factor is 5. It's the minimum that they both have. Okay, and they both don't have an x. So 5 goes outside. Now, 25 divided by 5 is 5x. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Number 11, the factors of 4 are 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. 16, the factors of 16, 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4, and that's it. So, and do they have any x's in common? No. So the greatest, common factor is 4. So we have 4x cubed minus 1. Number 12. So we have n times n, n times n times n, n times n times n times n times n. Okay, what is the greatest common factor? N squared. So if I divide away n squared, so I'm going to say negative n squared, we're going to change all of the signs. So if I take out 2 n's, I have nq remaining. Divide by 2 n's. Divide by n squared, I have n. N squared divided by n squared is 1. Remember the placeholder. And there you go. Okay, let's solve the equation. Let's distribute. Negative 22 plus 2m is equal to 18 plus 9m. Okay, combine like terms. Are there any terms that are alike and are together on the same side of the equal sign? No. Okay, so now we're going for isolate. Who's the king of the equation? Now, who's the king of this equation? We have 2m and 9m. The 9m is the king of that equation. So who has to go? Take away 18. Line up the like terms. So now I'm going to take away 2m from both sides. 7m is equal to -4. Number 13. First, we're going to distribute. So I have -22 plus 2m is equal to 18 plus 9m, and then we have another m outside waiting. Let's combine like terms. -22 plus 2m is equal to 18 plus 10m. Okay, how do we solve this equation? Let's see who the king is. Yeah, that's 2m, but that's 10m. Who's more important? The 10m. Okay, let's get rid of the 18. It's a positive, so we're subtracting. And we have -22 and -18 is -40. Okay, this 2m is on the wrong side. So we need to subtract 2m. -40 is equal to 8m. Divide by 8. M is equal to -5. Thanks for joining me.